We're Tracy and James McCoy, and this is the Fish Slap Effect podcast. Where leaders, creators, and disruptors collide. Each week, we bring you honest conversations about business, marketing, leadership, creativity, and the bold ideas that help people stand out in a noisy world. Whether you're building a brand, growing a business, or looking for fresh inspiration, you're in the right place. Let's make a splash.
And welcome back to the Fish Slap Effect podcast. I'm James.
I'm Tracy.
And this is the first for us. This is a part 2 of our discussion on AI, OpenAI ads.
Yes.
Right? I'm swimming in unfamiliar waters. So instead of talking about all of our goofy little things that we talk about in the beginning, we're just going to kind of do a quick review. We talked about OpenAI ads. We talked about people are not searching; they're now asking.
Yes,
for answers. That's what they're. That's totally different head. And from a company's perspective or a service provider's perspective, you need to earn trust and you need to build authority to be the subject matter expert. So these bots that are out there, they're going to grab your information and put it in front of potentially people searching for or asking a question about a service or something you provide.
Yes.
So that's kind of what we've all talked about. This podcast is going to be brought to you by Tracy only answering in one word sentences. So this is going to be kind of different. It's going to be kind of different.
Really?
So as we get ready to move forward in part 2 of this really cool conversation where I'm learning along with you, if not learning more than you right now, we're going to talk about context. Why is it becoming the new targeting? That's kind of interesting. We're also going to talk a little bit about earning your place in this new AI-driven, bot-driven conversation. And we may or may not make a super special announcement. So you'll have to tune in and stay here the rest of the way to find out. So last episode, we did not name a Fish Slap Big Catch Club member. I don't know if we should now.
Sure.
Okay, we're going to name one real quick. And that is Bugs Beware. Bugs Beware, they do... What are you looking at me for? Did we already name them?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm waiting.
They are an extermination company. They also do curb and scape. They do irrigation. They've been in business well over 25 years here in Highlands County, started by a husband and wife, Stephanie and Michael. And they've been a long-term client of ours.
Yes, they have.
They're one of the clients that when we meet with, I feel like I'm learning more about how to run a business and have a great company culture than I'm ever teaching them about marketing, but that's okay. So shout out to Bugs Beware.
Shout out to Bugs Beware.
We are so glad to have you, having you as a client and inducting you into the Big Catch Club.
We love how they buzz around.
Oh, there she goes.
There we go.
Awesome. So that's Bugs Beware. Check out their social, check out their website. And if you got something bugging you there, that's just for you.
Buzz on over to their website.
And give them a call, or even they can even change the look of the curb appeal with their curbing. Make it look really cool.
Yes.
So anyway, context, I have none. Just kidding. We spent years targeting demographics and then interests and then intents. So now what are we transitioning to in this new AI bot-driven world, Trace?
Well, I think as we take a look at everything and we think about how can we try to show up in answers? One, I don't care how old you are. I don't care about your demographic. I just want to be a part of the answer. I want to be a part of that conversation. So it changes to looking very closely at intent, which I think is what everybody's looking for all along. When I think about our clients and what we're trying to optimize for, what does everybody want? They want to make more money. They want to be busier. They want more leads. Those are always the KPIs that come along with different campaigns that we run. We don't just...
Key performance indicators.
There
you go.
So we're not just running campaigns just for the sake of it. We're not running somebody's social media just because, there's a goal in mind and there is intent. You're looking to get in front of people when it's the right time for the right person. So with these various AI tools now, and when we think about 0-click searches and that becoming the wave of the future, we look at what those AI summaries say, and then also those conversations within ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude. And when you're having those back and forth conversations, how do you make sure that you can show up and build trust and authority? So everything's built around context and the intent of what somebody may be looking for. And are you answering their question? So, and if you are answering their question, where did you answer their question that these sources can pull in as trustworthy? So, if somebody is looking for a really great dentist in their area, and they ask ChatGPT, like, "Hey, find me a great dentist in my area," and it's looking, and it's like, "Okay, well, these all are pretty close with five-star reviews." This one on their website says that they've been in business 25 years, so they might have better authority than the one who's been in business for 10. And the one that's been in business 25 years, I also found that they won these 3 awards. They won this one award with their newspaper.
Hmm.
They had that on their website, and maybe it was on the newspaper's website, and they won another one this other year, but this one didn't. So now I'm going to rank them in order because I found that this one that's been in business for 25 years and has better reviews than business number 2. Maybe business number 2 reviews are equal. However, business number 1 wins on top recommendation because it's more trustworthy, because not only because of the reviews, because of length in business, and then they've won awards and maybe they've had some recent press. So it's shown this like different type of picture. So now we're at the decision stage of, like, who should I pick? And you're able to look at the gaps between business 1 and business 2. Like, hey, why did you, and I ask this a lot, and I don't know if all of you ask this a lot, but I'll ask chat, like, well, why did you choose this one over another? Maybe it's just the marketing person in me, but I want to know why you told me that this was the best over whoever else you were thinking about. And a lot of times it'll go, well, let me rethink that. Maybe they're number 1 because of this, or, oh, you know what, in the context of this, maybe I should have given you a different answer. And here you go. So it's interesting, like the way that people prompt and ask questions will formulate how you show up. So it's a totally another different world on how we can set our businesses up for success in the context of how AI bots are reading your website, understanding your content, and building it into those questions.
Got it. So, in this world of the best ads becoming like ones that feel like advice, not advertising, so I'm going to give you some of the old school targeting, and you give me some of the new school,
Okay.
just as a quick summary, because we went through that a little
Really.
too fast for me. So, for
Sorry, there's my
example,
little rant for the day.
on traditional targeting of age and gendering, that gender, that's turning into more of what?
I would say like age and gender really isn't
Hmm.
necessarily relevant, although, it may be depending on what it is. So you might, but it would be different with it. It would be targeting within context or question. Because if you think about it, I might, like, let's say I have a product that is specifically
Yeah.
men's clothing,
Hmm.
like, built, even though
Makes
they
sense.
have men and women's clothing, like, I know that you like their shirts,
Hmm.
right? So I may be asking chat, "Can you find me other brands that are like this brand for
Hmm.
men's clothing specifically?" And then it would wanna look for men's clothing, but it's more specifically targeted that way, I think, than how you're not necessarily going, "I just wanna target male
Hmm.
versus
And
female."
then, like, instead of like old school or traditional tactic of like zip codes or interests, you're looking at probably somebody that's maybe what, in the decision stage, or what are you thinking?
I think so. Well, you like in chat ads, you're only able to target by the country right now. So you can't actually tell it specifically that I want you to serve in this location.
Hmm.
Whereas in Google ads or Meta ads, you're able to tell it precisely where you want to target. So I think that's a big piece that is a differentiator between the different platforms as far as targeting. And that's where our context hints come in so handy because, like, in building them out for people who want to show up in a specific location, we have to look very carefully at how we word the context so that they show up in relevant searches in the market that they're in.
Got it.
Does that
So
answer your
it does
question?
answer my question. So is it safe to say that we're going to be transitioning from who is this person, and we need to start asking what problem are they trying to solve right now, or
I
is that
think
kind of?
so. I think it's like, what problem are you trying to solve? Who are you trying to get in front of? Like, what type of questions would people be asking where they were researching your product or service and what would take them there. So, like if you're researching getting, like, for example, you want someone to know about your dental crowns, and then your people are researching maybe tooth pain, and they're researching, just different types of things that would get them to the point where they would need a crown. That would make that more relevant for them, and it may show up as an option and a reference source of, this is the right time to get a crown. And you see that in Google search a lot, where I may search a symptom or something like that, and then Mayo Clinic in another state shows up, and it has nothing to do with what I was like, location wise. I can't go there right now, like I can't go walk down the street,
Mm-hmm.
but they gave me the information that I'm looking for. I see that a lot with how chat's going to evolve in question and answer. And then I think if it needs to be location relevant, that those types of things have to be weaved into your copy on your website and everything else, so that that way, as people ask those location specific questions, that it's able to pick that up.
It almost sounds like marketers or marketing agencies need to become psychologists.
Sort of, yeah. You're like thinking, like, okay, lay on the couch and tell me about it.
Exactly.
How are you feeling?
There you go.
But I mean, really, when you
Instead of just media buyers.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally different. It's like a whole psychology behind it. I think that it's going to really evolve how we think. It already has, and I
Okay.
think that it's just going to continue to evolve because, you have to think about it even a little bit more differently. I don't even know that more differently is,
That's okay.
but a little bit differently
Mm-hmm.
when we're building out campaigns that require this type of input. You're like, okay, well, gosh, I really do need to think about that differently. And how do we make sure that it's relevant? Because the last thing I want to do is spend money on ads that aren't relevant.
So a good fish slap moment is the future of targeting isn't who someone is, it's what they're trying to figure out.
Yes.
So like if we go back to part one, when I was talking about us making the vehicle purchase, I was trying to find like the best vehicle for the money with the least amount of depreciation over the length of the loan. So I was basically, that was the problem I was trying to solve. Therefore, chat was pulling all this stuff in to provide me that answer. So am
Yes.
I on the right trail?
You are 100% on the right trail.
Excellent. So
You are learning more today than all of our viewers.
I know my head hurts, but I'm becoming contextual. So there you go. So moving on to earning our place in this conversation, this AI conversation. When I say earning our place, meaning your business or the service that you provide, et cetera, et cetera. Businesses can't just, true or false, businesses can't just expect AI to recommend them simply because you're on the internet.
Exactly.
So
True.
I always like to do this when I talk to clients. I always like to give them a client A and client B. So client A has a great website that's kind of indexed or optimized for AI, for lack of a better term. They're producing content that is relevant to the services they provide, mixing in some key reputation pieces as well. And then client B is just kind of following, they have your one pager from whoever, doesn't matter, doesn't have a lot of context. It's basically this is who we are, this is how you contact us. And they're hit or miss on social. AI is leaning towards client A, probably.
I would think client A, and AI just doesn't have as much information to continue to update about client B, because if client A is constantly feeding information out there that can be indexed and can be picked up, then you're providing more context to every type of search engine that there is to be able to index your information and get your business out there. It's kind of like one of those things, like if you're like, hey, you get 3 chances or you get 300 chances, you're more likely to win if you tried 300 times than 3. So it's one of those where like the odds are against you if you're not staying as relevant and you just have done like one thing, especially if you're not getting reviews. I mean, reviews, I think, is one thing that people forget a lot about, but that is one really big source of trust that is a huge trust signal for AI and for local search specifically, that will really help your business grow and
So
rank.
is the Google bot talking to the chat bot?
I don't know.
I was
That's a
just
good
wondering.
question.
This is a good
All
question.
they're
So
all they're all bots.
there
So
you
they're
the all
probably
bought it.
I think they're
Hello.
probably all having a little party. They're hanging
And
out.
no, they're not.
They're like the Google emotional support bot is hanging out with the ChatGPT one and they're like having their own little fights. There's going to be a whole
No
cartoon about this.
fights. It's not going to be
Just
fights.
wait. Like in 10
We're
years,
not here to promote violence.
they're not fights, like arguing, like bickering, but chatting.
Debates.
They're having chats with each other.
Anyway, chit chats.
But I bet you there's going to be some kind of cartoon one day with like chat bots
It
in
could
it.
be. It could be. I can remember Celebrity Deathmatch on MTV where they had the little stop motion clamation, like Eddie Vedder was fighting Scott Stapp from Creed because they both sounded the same. Their voice, it's my voice. No, it's my voice. Anyway, back on track. So how does SEO differentiate from this recommendation that we want companies or our clients to earn through AI?
So we think about SEO and we think
Search
about
engine optimization. We're
search
going to
engine
name all these
yes.
acronyms today.
So let's go through some alphabet soup. So we have SEO, which is going to be your search engine
Mm-hmm.
optimization. You have local SEO, which impacts your map pack. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like your listings, like your Google business profile, your Apple Maps, Yelp, Bing, those different listing sites. So those are like your aggregators that really help your business show up. So those are your local SEO sources. And then you have on the SEO side, that's your search engine results page. And that's how you show up. Like if you were to search on Google and see how you show up in order on that page, that's how you're going to show up. So notice I didn't say anything about those AI summaries. That's where the next one comes in. AEO, that's answer engine optimization. So you ask a question, it provides an answer. Those are your answer engines, those little chat summaries. And then you think of GEO, that's your generative engine optimization. Think of ChatGPT. So how are you going to show up there? So those are all different components. So when we think about, how do you become trusted? A lot of the same signals apply across all of those different places. And when we think about AI specifically, it's much more conversation driven. So, like, one big tip would be add a FAQ section on your website. What do people ask questions about the most for your business? And answer those questions. That's going to help these chatbots answer those questions. And that's also going to create more relevant pages on your website for people to spend time on.
So, like for example, from a website, and this is more. It's all about me today, folks. It's going to educate me some more. So, like for example, if a client wanted to serve all of Highlands County, but Highlands County is not mentioned anywhere on their website,
How does anybody
they've
know?
already put their one hand behind their back, basically.
Right. And, like when you think of how people search too, and we think about like the context, a lot of people are going to search by a specific area, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily a county.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on what it is. So if it's like a county entity, they may be searching by county, or they may search near me, or they may search, speaking of Highlands County, they may say Sebring or Lake
Or
Placid
like
or Avon
locally
Park.
owned and operated.
Correct.
Like
So
that would be
they
a huge differentiator between the person who's in another county just lobbying ad
Correct.
bombs into Sebring or Lake Placid or Avon
Right,
Park.
exactly. So, like when we think about, optimizing for like local searches, that's where it's really important that you have pages and local schema. That's another term
Mhm.
where it's basically like markup on your website that will show up to help you show up locally, essentially. And that also will help serve you well from an AI perspective to help you show up better in the different AI related searches.
So, like SEO, search engine optimization, those are more like keywords
Key phrases and keywords
that are on your
that's a
website.
little bit built more around context as well.
And
So
then the recommendations were more of like we talked about in the last episode of, making sure you mention that the awards you've won or having a blog.
having a blog can certainly help
Okay.
because you're providing more information
Mhm.
to help answer the questions that your potential customers might have. So when we think about ranking for SEO, we're thinking about how we show up in the search engine's results page. And that's where you build out a very strong structure on your website. Also that structure, if your website is built well for SEO and for accessibility, then your website information will show up really well in AI searches because AI is reading the back end of your website.
Mhm.
So when we think about all the code and all the words that go along with your website, if the AI bots can read that well and understand it and plug it into the answers, then that really is going to help you rank very well. It means that your information is structured properly to appear in searches. And then aside from your website, your local searches, like let's say you're a newer business and you just came into, let's throw a field out there, pick a field, any field.
Um, tree trimming.
You're a tree trimming business. So you just started a tree trimming business. Now there's like 10 or 15 of them that have
Mm-hmm.
been in business longer than you that probably have more reviews. And maybe some of them have decided, hey, I'm busy. So I stopped paying attention. I don't ask for new reviews and I don't like, I don't try anymore, essentially. I don't post, my
Not
website's
answering your
old,
reviews. Your
all those
website's
things.
down. You're 404.
Yeah, you're 404, yo. So, so we're having all these issues with our website and everything else. So now I, as a new business, come in and we make sure that your site's properly structured, your information is accurate across all the online listings, and that we start a really aggressive review strategy. Your ranking on local SEO will happen much quicker because you'll be able to compete faster versus on SEO where these folks may have been in business a lot longer and they have more authority on their website. So it will take a little bit longer for you to replace them on the search engine results page, but within the listings, you can move it a little bit quicker.
Got it.
So it's just a little bit different in each like kind of
Okay.
category. So it gives us more to think about now. Now that we have AI in there too, it's like you can't forget about what's helped make you successful all these years for businesses that have been in business a long time. And now for businesses just kind of entering the game, there's more to think about to really kind of like have a seat at the
So a
table.
good fish slap moment or a fish slap takeaway is you can't buy your way into every conversation, but sometimes
You
you
just
have
have
to
to
earn your way in.
you have to earn your place.
Got it. So
Yes.
earning my place to sit in this chair next to you.
Earning your seat at the table.
That's it. Seat at the table. So do we want to talk a little bit about some things that we're doing or
Yeah,
changing
so
for
some
just a
some
few
things
minutes?
that
Quick
yeah. So
little.
just a little teaser. So we're working on a practical framework that business can actually use to help with their presence online. And it's not just going to be a framework, but an entire methodology that's going to help you think about things differently and build out a successful plan. So I'm really excited about this. Just some things that it's going to include is how to build trust signals, creating authoritative content, optimizing for AI understanding, strengthening your brand reputation, connecting your emotional storytelling with factual expertise, and making your business easier for AI and people to understand. So we're actively testing ideas and testing different campaigns, and we're really excited to launch this soon. So just stay tuned and keep following us, and we'll let you know when everything drops. But we're really excited to get this out there and to talk more about how businesses can grow.
Don't tell him anymore. Don't tell him
No,
anymore.
no more, no
No
more.
more.
That's
That's all
secret.
you
Shh.
get.
Top
So
secret.
what if the business that wins over the next 5 years are simply the ones that become easier to recommend?
I think that's the way of the future.
So when you say easier to recommend, you're talking easier for the bots to
Yes.
recommend.
Which is crazy. You think about that, right? And you say that again, you think about it, and it's like, yes, it's important for me and you to be able to recommend, to our friends a business. Like that's always going to be the number one,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
source of
sure.
truth. But then you think of like the next generation. I go back to the story about our daughter going, I asked Google and they told
Mm-hmm.
me and it's right. And that's kind of the wave, I think, of where things are going. We're getting so accustomed to chatting with
Mm-hmm.
these different AI services that they're becoming almost like you're naturally speaking to somebody, that they've started to earn your trust and you're like, "Oh yeah." And you're having a conversation just like it's a real person where you kind of have to go, "Okay, this is not a real person. I need to remember this isn't a real
Yeah.
person as good as they are at
Yeah.
talking." And even now with the, like with the voices and stuff, it's a little crazy that I can literally have a conversation and they talk back to me in a human like voice. So I'm having to get over that hump. But like when you think about it in 5 years and 10 years, as everything evolves, it's going to be like having a human conversation. And that's where people are going to initially go, oh, yep, they said that. That's what I'm doing. I trust it.
It's interesting because it almost sounds like as a business owner, you're going to be able to start creating or controlling the narrative because current state, people are like, oh, my phone's listening to me. Oh, my Alexa's listening to me. Okay, put that aside for just a second. But as a business owner, if you can develop a strategy of putting what you want out there to help convert, you're actually controlling the narrative as opposed to the bot just going out there.
And
All the bot's doing is grabbing what's out there.
exactly.
So now
So
you can control what's out there.
yeah, if you take control of your brand online and you take a look at what people are saying about you and what you can say and put out there about your business, you're controlling that narrative and you're building credibility. And visibility used to be enough, and now it's not just visibility because there's so much more to it. Now credibility is going to decide who gets recommended.
There you go. So visibility used to be enough. Tomorrow, credibility will decide who gets recommended. And with that, another episode has come to an end.
It has.
So we have some more to talk about on this subject, which is
Yes.
super exciting. But please remember, like, comment, share, tell a friend about it. Maybe hit the little reminder bell so you'll know when the next episode drops. As always, shameless self-promotion. If you want to learn more about any of these topics we talk about, you can always schedule some time with me, with Trace, have a consultation, and go from there, right?
Yes.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
So there we go. Ace, executive producer Ace, thank you for sitting in. Jess is out of town. Shout out executive producer. Shout out Ace. We really appreciate it. So thanks again for tuning in, for giving us your attention. I hope I look smarter. I feel smarter.
Me too.
I'm going to go make up my own abbreviation. GMO RESPCT.
Yeah, get ready for our next abbreviation to be launched on the next episode.
There you go. So like, comment, share. We can't wait to see you. Thanks for tuning in and keep on making a splash. Later.